I could check YouTube, see if it's doing an intro video.
Nope, we're live.
Oh, okay, cool.
Woo!
All right. Sorry that that took so long, everybody. But we are doing our first season 2, episode 001, Fishbowl. Before we get started, can we verify that we actually are live? Can someone just check real quick? Check YouTube, see if we're.
Let's look.
Yep, it does look like we are live. Cool. All right. Yes, this is our season 2, episode 1 for our Fishbowl. We're going to be doing it a little bit different this season with our Fishbowl episodes. They are going to be on the last weekend of every single month. So you're going to have to tune in to YouTube, and we should be able to stream this to some of our other our other social medias as far as the YouTube or the Fishbowl goes. So that's how we're going to be doing it for season 2. We're going to maybe change a little bit things up. As you can see, we have Bob helping us out too. Bob is going to be spinning the wheel for us. And you as the audience members, you can see that I already put some of the topics in the background. So if you want to go ahead and research some of this stuff yourself as we're talking, or you're curious about some of the stuff, or if you can't stick around and you just want to take a picture of this and go on and see what we talk about, or if you want to follow along, or whatever, you can see what we're going to be talking about. I might hide those in the future. I might just have 1 through 8, and then just kind of leave it as a mystery as what we might talk about. But we're going to try it for today. And again, before we get started, we're going to introduce everybody to the episode. As always, I am Stevenson Longbottom.
I am Clark, aka the Reverend Michael Snakebite.
And I am the Carolina Storyteller Jonathan Miller. Pleasure to be at your service today, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks for being here as well. It's always a pleasure having you on. You're great to talk with. The Lavanya Fisher episode, if everyone that episode still hasn't come out yet. We're staggering them and everything like that for season 2, but that episode should be out in the coming weeks. So if you like what you're hearing right now, or honestly, this will be before that one. So yes, if you stick around, you can hear Jonathan talk about Lavanya Fisher. I always screw up that name. But you guys, are you? I know you can see the topics behind me, but are you ready to get the ball going?
Oh yeah, let's do this, man.
Okay, sounds good. All right, here we go.
Your assumptions are wrong.
I don't. Can you guys hear that in the background?
Yeah,
I heard your assumptions are wrong.
Yes. All right, so let's take a look to see what number 7. All right, so we have encephalitis lethargica. I think I'm saying that pronouncing that correctly. Before I go into it, have either one of you heard about this before?
I think I know what it is.
This is a totally new one on me.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I can't remember if this is the one. Is this the disease? I won't call it disease. Wherever it's like I think it's actually caused by prions or something. But it can be like inherited or something. So, is this the one where you can't go to sleep until you die?
I believe
where you like I know there's a sickness where you can't sleep and you eventually die of basically your body shuts down, but I can't remember I thought this was the actual name for that. Maybe I might be wrong, but there's I can't remember what that sickness is called, but it's very, very rare.
Okay, so you're on the right track, Clark. I'll read to you what the because again I found this one on Reddit, like most of the stories I find. Let me get to it real quick. But yes, you are on the right track with as far as It is a disease. So between the years of 1916 to 1931, encephalitis lethargica, also known as the sleeping sickness, spread across the world. It left people frozen, awake, unable to move or speak, and about 500,000 people died. Then, just suddenly as it appeared, it vanished without explanation. Again, that is Reddit's definition. So you weren't very far off, Clark. With it is, I guess, where you are asleep and you cannot wake up from this disease or for whatever reason. So
I remember what I was thinking of. It was I was thinking of fatal familial insomnia.
Ah.
That's the one where you can't. It's very rare, and it's like it can be genetic. Like you can pass it down, but it's that's the one where you can't sleep until you die. Like you just stop sleeping. You're unable to. And people can live for like 6 months with it or whatever, but their body eventually just wears down until they die.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you can't live very long without sleep, and I mean, like, sleep within itself, like, the scientists are still trying to comprehend, like, why we need it. I mean, it's vital to our survival. We do need to do it, but to live for that's insane to not be able to sleep. I can only imagine how your mind would be playing so many tricks on you. Like, I will lose sleep for like a day or like a couple of hours. Like I won't get like a full night's sleep. And I just have the worst headaches, and I just can't think properly. So that's crazy. I don't know how are you guys without sleep?
I don't have enough sleep, and I'm not a very happy person. And in fact, I'm like a cat. I like to sleep as much as possible. If I could sleep 22 hours a day, I would. But unfortunately, bills and my kids and all my other obligations keep me from doing that. But sleep is very important to me. In fact, I'm going to get some sleep, very soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some sleep, and then I'll get more sleep because tomorrow's Labor Day, and I'm not doing a damn thing tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Probably watch a horror movie after this, and then go to sleep, and wake up tomorrow and go back to sleep. That's my plan.
What about you, Clark?
I kind of changed up and down. I was actually pretty bad insomniac in like high school and stuff, but I was run ragged between a pretty demanding school schedule and then sports and everything afterward. So like I didn't like it was nothing. I was always up till like 3 a.m. and then back up at like 7 at school. So like I was bad about that. And then I've gotten better with age. Like now I can sleep pretty regularly. Like I can go to bed between like 9 and 10 on the dot, and then I'm up at 5 a.m. and I'm good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty like a regular sleeper now, but yeah, I used to be terrible about it. And I can go if something comes up, like I don't know, I kind of thrive on the chaos. If I get a night like without sleep, it's fine. Like I kind of run off the adrenaline of like getting stuff done kind of thing, but then eventually I'll crash and need a nap if it goes too long.
Agreed. Yeah, it's well. I'll get into a little bit of the actual disease of encephalitis. Oh my gosh, encephalitis. The disease of
swelly brain tired disease.
Yes.
Worst possible disease you can get.
I'm just gonna call it EL. That's what the rare disease info.nih.gov calls it. So about the actual disease, as many rare diseases have limited information currently, this guide aims to provide the following information for this disease. So the population estimated to have it right now is apparently less than 1,000 people in the U.S. Symptoms may start to appear as an adult, it says. Does not currently have any information about the cause of the disease. Neurological disease as well. Some symptoms as a disease may start to appear in adulthood. The age symptoms may begin to appear different between diseases. Symptoms may begin in a single age range or during several age ranges. The symptoms of some diseases may begin at any age. Okay, this is just saying. So really between 19 and 65, that is really when that's the age group that it'll hit at. But some of the characteristics of it, there's a high fever, headache, double vision, delayed physical and mental responses, extreme tiredness, i.e. the name of it, and sometimes a coma. So you can see that this is a pretty hefty disease. It doesn't seem like it's too big of a thing as of right now. I mean, less than 1,000 people have it, but it still is out there. But it's very interesting that between those, between that year, I think it was like between that 20-year range over I said Reddit said 1 million people. Again, going to have to fact check that to see if it actually is true or not. But I find that very, very interesting that to this day, they don't know exactly why it has been caused or what, even like right now it's categorized as a rare disease. So I guess this one would not be very fun to have.
I'm sure smarter people than I have spent more time ruminating over this, but like just from what I know off the top of my head, if it's encephalitis, that's like swelling and inflammation in the brain.
Yeah.
So the fever obviously is a given. Like that's always with any kind of encephalitis, fever is always like a symptom. So I knew that was going to be there, but for it to affect sleep, I would think that would be like you would see like maybe inflammation or something in a certain part of the brain and not just swelling overall. Like maybe like, specifically it's attacking the part of the brain that, maybe like was it hypothalamus or something that regulates your kind of internal clock or something?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So that's just like, maybe like I said, I'm sure smarter people have already thought of this and looked into it more, but as little as we actually know about the brain sometimes and consciousness in general, maybe that's what's eluding us. Maybe that's why we can't figure it out. But I would just think it's something where it's, the fever is a symptom of the encephalitis itself, but maybe the swelling is just attacking that particular part of the brain. And that's why, or maybe it's coincidence. Maybe, maybe it's not something that's supposed to be attacking that area of the brain. Maybe it's just encephalitis and certain people get that, it's similar as if you had it maybe in the frontal lobe and you just had like attention span of a gnat or something.
I wonder if it could be something too where this specific strain or like maybe like, okay, yes, it is a rare disease, but maybe like this specific one during that time period had that like, affected that, like what you were saying, affected that part of the brain where like that many people came down with like that, like they just fell into like a coma essentially. Like I wonder if that was the case for this. It'd be interesting to I mean, I'm sure people have looked into this and tried to have figured it out. So yeah, that's I do like that theory that that's maybe what happened too. But yeah, Clark, I think you're on the right track.
I would think also maybe if they figured out if like region, it was a certain region affected more than others, because I mean, it almost sounds like maybe parasitic,
Ooh,
something in the water, literally.
I mean, those brain parasites do a number on you, but just, stealing your ability to sleep, that's just evil.
It really is. It really is.
Evil.
But you were also like, you kind of bring up a good point. Like, you may be thinking like, all right, a parasite in the brain. Yeah, that can't happen. Think about the that parasite that I didn't believe this at first, but it's the parasite that cats give humans to make them take care of them. Like, I didn't believe that at first. I remember it was like years ago someone had told me that, and I was like, no way, that's not true. But it actually turns out that actually is, and apparently it's like in the I believe it's in the cat urine and feces, and like when you're changing their litter box, like that's when you breathe in the parasite. It's so weird to think about that's actually a thing. Now, is that a stretch for this disease? I don't know. Maybe not. But it definitely is a possibility. Maybe that could have been something. So good point there, John.
I try.
All right. So that covers the EL disease. Any final thoughts before we have Bob spin the wheel again?
I hope I never get that disease.
Yeah, right. All right, here we go.
I'm
We're
thinking
spinning the
about
wheel
sleeping
again.
right now.
So two evils is still evil.
All right, let's see what we got here. We have number 6. All right, so the apparently this is old. I think you guys can see it on the chart right there. Zombie squirrels. So this was again apparently this has been around for a minute, but it is actually the article is from Forbes. So why are zombie squirrels having been appearing in the US and Canada recently? And this is was published in August of or 23 of August of this year of 25. The idea, this is what it goes on to saying, the idea of zombie squirrels may have seem a bit nuts to you, but that's the term that people have been using to describe what they've been seeing in the US and Canada. So apparently it's called fibromatosis because the lumps are actually tumors called fibromos. Fibromo is a non-cancerous tumor consisting of fibrous connective tissue. These tumors can range from the size of in the size of one squirrel's from a few millimeters to 25 millimeters in diameter. So what people are seeing apparently through the U.S. and Canada right now are these squirrels with these tumors all over them. As to why it's making an emergence, I don't know if the article goes to say as to why. News of these zombie squirrels may have gone viral on social media. Yeah. But there's something else viral about this disease. It causes infectious with a disease called, okay, I'm not going to pronounce that, leads to these tumors. This virus belongs to the pox group of viruses. Is there a treatment for the bad news? If you happen to have a large bushy tail and really love acorns, there's no treatment for this disease. It does not say why they've been making an emergence in the US and Canada right now, but apparently, I don't know, have you guys heard this or have seen squirrels with these tumors or anything? I just saw the post and I saw it from Forbes. I thought it was really interesting. But no, I have not seen any lately. Have you guys?
I have not heard of this. I saw the thing about the rabbits?
Yes,
Recently in
John.
Colorado.
Have you seen the rabbit one?
I haven't seen the rabbit one. I've seen the squirrel one. And this is not the first animal to have a zombification. A few years ago, they discovered a mite that liked to get into cockroaches and control the cockroaches. Then they discovered a type of wasp that zombifies spider brains and controls spiders. A fungus that controls bees. The zombification is taking off, people. Okay, it's happening in the world, and we need to be ready for it. Okay, and that is why I'm in touch with my squirrel brethren, and we are locked and loaded with plenty of zombie killing measures. I've got my hatchet right there by the door. I'm ready. They start coming through the door. I'm going for the brain first because that's where they're controlled by. So, I haven't seen the rabbits yet, but it's making its way up the food chain. Okay. Next, it's going to be cats and dogs and horses. And then it's going to be Tim running down the street, trying to eat my brain. And you know what? I'm ready for it. I've been waiting for this day. Okay. Ever since I was like 8 years old and saw Night of the Living Dead, I've been getting ready. I've got my zombie outbreak plan.
Not to get too sidetracked or anything, but why is it that that like there's just this fascination with a zombie apocalypse. I'm not gonna lie, like there's a low key, there's that part I think that everyone would be like, it would be kind of fun for like the first couple of hours, but then once you really think about it, it would get kind of old after a while. Why is that?
I think it's like the purge without judgment or guilt.
Ah, okay.
I think it's because it is the easiest one to occur, because all it takes is a large portion of humanity losing their ability to reason. Really. I mean, that's what zombies are. They're senseless, mindless animals looking for food.
Mm.
They don't have the ability to reason. So it takes away our mammalian brain and our primate brain, our mammalian brain, and most of our reptile brain, and just leaves that one primal urge: food.
Yeah.
And that's what zombies are. And so if you think about it, intellectually speaking, we are like 2 steps away from that. There are some of us, I'm not lying, I'm not saying where they are, Washington, D.C., who I swear are only 1 step away. Okay. I'm telling you, they are 1 step. It goes back. That little piece of brain disappears. Boom, they're zombies. Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You bring up the fact that like there's cockroaches and these wasps. I swear we've done an episode about this. Again, the podcast has been going on for 3 years. I think it was our first year doing the podcast. We did cover zombies, and a part of me remembers speaking on the that the bug. It's a fungus that will like attach itself to these insects and control like dead like carcass bodies of insects and everything like that. So is it technically a zombie? I mean, yeah, in terms, yeah, it kind of is. But as far as these squirrels go, they aren't zombie squirrels. It's just actually tumors on these squirrels. It sucks because there's no treatment for it. The article again doesn't say like how or why it's happening. But Clark, you had said that there was something going on with rabbits.
Yeah, it's like the same kind of weird growths on rabbit. Well, actually, you see them on deer in Colorado also. So it's like strange. They're all happening kind of out west. But you'll see these like weird, almost antler-looking growths coming out of like the rabbits' heads and stuff like that. And I know with the deer, they do actually know what disease that is, and it's like they actually warn people not to like consume any of that meat, because I don't know if like what it'll do as far as being transmitted to people, but yeah, they definitely say don't do that. And with the rabbits, I haven't seen anything like yet about. I know they know it's a similar kind of growth thing, but it hasn't like affected their behavior from what I know. I think it's just something dermatological from so far from what I've read.
Interesting. And I know there's like the same thing with and like eating meat when it's not the correct season. I know this is not like exactly what you were saying, but I do know like rabbit is one of those meats where you're not, isn't it like again, I'm not a hunter, so I'm not, I swear I've heard this in passing where it's like you're not supposed to eat rabbit at a certain point of the year because of the amount of like parasites that it does have in the meat. Again, I don't know. I could be lying, or I may not have my information correct. But have either one of you heard about that?
I've never heard about that, but I mean, it makes sense.
Well, isn't like
that
doesn't that happen in like fish too? Like
Yeah.
I feel like
I was going to say seafood's a big one.
there are certain fish that if you eat them out of season, they have toxicity levels and things like that. And then there are certain fish that if you eat them when they're too small or too big, they have toxicities to them. Even with like if you catch a shark and try to eat a shark, you have to actually treat the meat before you eat it, or you get in like a large amount of ammonia, I think.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's
That's something that's crazy that not to get too sidetracked off, but Clark, I remember you saying this. Um, it was a while ago. But hold on one second. So, parasites can happen in the off season. Deer get chronic wasting disease. Interesting. I did not know that. Thank you for the information, chat. But Clark, I remember you had said that we have like survival on lockdown right now. I don't know why that you said that I think like a year or two ago, and it just has always stuck with me. And then like how easy it is, but if for whatever reason as a society, again we're talking like zombie stuff, if like a zombie apocalypse were to happen, and everyone has to fend for themselves, something as simple as like, okay, catching meat, I don't think most people realize that, okay, parasites can happen in the off season. So again, if you eat off season meat, like the chat is saying right now, you could get a parasite and you could die. So it's just, or maybe not. I don't know if you could die, but you could probably get super sick. So it's one of those crazy things to think about. Again, like zombie apocalypse seems fun at first, but then once you eat off-season meat, you're getting sick. So yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about the zombie squirrel stuff. But what about you guys? Anything else?
They say that they're not zombie squirrels. They're lying to you.
You're sticking
Squirrels are
with it?
becoming zombies.
All right.
My squirrel buddies are carrying AK-47s, taking them out. I'm telling you.
All right. Let's see what Bob's gonna get for us next.
Keep your plan secret for now.
Okay, Bob's just doing a countdown now.
I'll say,
I didn't. All right, we're going to 5. I don't know. Maybe it might be different for the next one. Oh, this one is pretty crazy. Tim from Family Feud. So before I get into this one, how many of you, or I guess you chat too, I guess, how many of you like Family Feud?
love it. Honestly,
You love it?
yep.
I mean, which version of Family Feud are we talking about? I mean, are we talking about the current iteration? Are we going back to Richard Dobson? You know, the guy from Home Improvement hosted it, or when they put that loser on there and he tried to host it for a while and he really wasn't that good. Which one are we talking about?
I'll let you and Clark debate that. I don't watch the show, so I'm neither here nor there. I guess I really don't mind. I've never really got into the show. So that's a you and a Clark discussion. Clark,
Steve Harvey's the best host. Clark.
Yeah, I'm all down. Like I said, 6 o'clock and then 7 to 8, watching all 3 episodes every weekdays. It's our peace at home.
Well, I don't mean to ruin the show, but have you heard of the contestant whose name was Tim?
I don't know.
Sure there's a lot
name, but if it is the guy I'm thinking of, does this involve a murder?
Oh, it does.
I know who it is. Then, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let me bust this article out real quick. Okay. So the article is from people.com. So man was convicted of murdering wife, says the joke at her expense on Family Feud was said with malice. Wasn't said with malice. So a contestant by the name of Tim went on to Family Feud, and I think the question was, or something on the lines. Again, I don't know, watch the show, so don't. You might have to correct me if I'm wrong here, but it was like something that you regret, or something on the lines of that. And the contestant was like, marrying my wife, and everyone was like, oh, and he's like, oh, I guess it was, no one really thought much of it. It was like one of those shock things, but apparently a year later, he goes and he murders his wife. So I'm going to read a little bit about the article. So the man was convicted in June, and this was in September 28th of 2023. So this was about 2 years ago. The man was convicted in June of murdering his wife after appearing on Family Feud years earlier, saying that his joke on TV, in which he expressed regret about marrying her, was not said with malice. Timothy Blenfnick spoke out for the first time since he was sentenced to life in prison in August for the February 23 murder of his estranged wife, Rebecca, on the upcoming episode of 48 Hours. Yada, yada. That's just okay. So in the year of 2020, Family Feud episode with Steve Harvey. All right, Tim, this is what Steve Harvey was saying. So, all right, Tim, we talked to 100 married people. What's the biggest mistake you made at your wedding? And then he goes on saying, honey, I love you, but I said I do. Not my mistake, not my mistake. I love my wife. So that's what he was saying. And then he said that, speaking out about the joke in a teaser clip for the 48 Hours episode, it wasn't said with malice or bad intentions. It was supposed to be funny. So yeah, okay, so what actually happened? So Rebecca, who was 41 years old, was shot 14 times at close range and was found dead in her second floor bathroom. During his trial in May, prosecutors said that Tim killed his wife after seeing another man's car parked outside her house on February 14th. So yeah, pretty big story there as far as Family Feud and it goes. What do you guys think? Do you think he truly did not love his wife, or do you think just like circumstances and just like, it was just a bad joke, he really didn't mean it, yada yada? What do you guys think?
I got a question though. It was on February 14th. It was on Valentine's Day, and he saw another man's car in front of her house. Like, details there. Is that like, were they separated already, or were they like, was it her house, or was it another guy's car out in front of their house, or was it?
It may be something where like maybe there's there might be like a court case on this, there might be some like footage and like that might actually show like what happened in the courtroom. The article doesn't say if like she was cheating, if it was just something where they were in the middle of a divorce, they were already separated. It doesn't say in the article, but that is a good point, because as I read that date, like February 14th, in my mind, I was like, oh wait, that's Valentine's Day. So who knows if it was something where she was cheating again, like who knows, but the article doesn't say.
So, here's my problem with this. And this is a occurrence that happens a lot. I'm sorry, moving around. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, he appeared on an episode of The Dating Game. He won that episode, as a matter of fact. And the girl decided not to go on a date with him because she was just like, oh, this guy's creepy. And, Rena,
that was,
we got this comment about Steve once saying that Steve's wife once saying she'd trade him in for a pool boy as an answer. And I was going to get to actually just that. But my point is that Richard Ramirez, he's a prime example. You got O.J. Simpson was in 3 of my favorite movies, and then he killed his wife. You have the whole Sally Jesse Raphael murder that happened. And now, of course, we have the Family Feud guy that made a comment a few years before he murdered his wife. And the thing that you have to separate, and the thing that sometimes these news stories do, is you're taking a single moment and trying to apply it to the crime.
Yeah.
By what I'm hearing about the crime, by what you're stating about this crime, it seems like there was a lot going on, and this single moment may or may not have had anything to do with what happened. We can't, they try to tie these things in, and a lot of times they don't. They tried to use the episode of Sally Jesse Raphael as the reason why it was okay for that guy to murder another guy in South Carolina for saying that he loved him. And I'm like, no, murder doesn't have an excuse. You can't use that as an excuse, and it didn't work as an excuse. And now they're trying to pull up a clip from a few years earlier where he made a joke, and then in making the joke said, hey, it's a joke. I don't mean it that way. And say, well, he actually did mean it. But when you look at the facts of the case, there was obviously something else going on if he violently reacted because he saw someone else's vehicle in the driveway, whether she was cheating or they were separated and it was her house. There was something else. There was a lot more going on there in this case than just a one-off joke on a TV game show. And this is what happens a lot of times is they try to tie these media things in and blame the media for, like, the media somehow caused the events. And no, this is a big mental health issue. This guy obviously had problems because he was not handling something well. And believe me, I understand dealing with, rejection and somebody being dishonest and hurtful to you is a big thing, but there are ways to handle it. And going in and shooting her, how many times was it again?
14 is what he
14.
said.
14 times? Yeah, 14 times is a little excessive, okay? All right? Generally, it's, 2 and 1 is what we generally teach from TVs and movies. It's all you need. Two in the chest, 1 in the head. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. You don't need 14 shots. That's a little excessive there. You're going overboard. There might be something wrong. And we've seen this before with, people who have fame and everything. They've committed some type of atrocious crime, and they like to tie it to the media. It has nothing to do with the media. It has to do with the person's mental health. There was something wrong up here, and you just happened to get a glimpse of it on TV, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to catch somebody on TV that has a little problem up here, simply because 9 times out of 10, when you walk down the street, you're going to run into somebody that has a problem up here. It's more than 10% of the population has mental health issues. Many of them severe. And when one of these severe mental health issues combines with an opportunity for violence and the media, it always gets blamed on the media. Really, it shouldn't.
Well, I think something too is that you bring up a good point where it's like it's a snidbit of time where 100% it could have been like, really, it could have just been a joke. He could have honestly like truly loved her. They could have been in love, but something could have happened, and it just, again, I'm not trying to justify what he did. He murdered someone. That was completely wrong, especially like you were saying 14 times. Yeah, that's a little that's excessive. But I think we also have to take a look at the time in which it happened. This was not something where it was like he was on Family Feud and then the very next day he did this thing, like he committed this crime. It was 3 years later that he was convicted of it. Now I might have to look at the actual like date when, because he was convicted in 23, on the show in 2020. So I need to take another look at the date and as far as like when the crime actually took place, what year. But regardless, I don't think it took place the very next day. But yeah, it is very interesting. And like, again, I think you can do that with, I mean, take the podcast for whatever. Like we make jokes on the podcast and everything. And that's, I think we're like, I'm not trying to get too far off track, but like the whole like cancel culture thing where people were going back into years and years and years of people's documentation of them doing interviews and just being like, look at what they said. What was a completely different time and like what things were going on. Not trying to get too sidetracked or whatever, but my long story short, I think we need to take a look at the time frame in which things happened as well. But yeah,
There's two things I wanted to bring up. One slight correction. The dating game killer was Rodney Alcala. Same time frame.
Which one was Richard Ramirez on? Richard Ramirez was on one of them.
I don't know what TV show he might have appeared on. Rodney Alcala was the dating game guy that won, and then the contestant backed out and said she didn't go on the date with him because he was creepy when she actually talked to him face to face. But aside from that, there is another probably creepier than the Family Feud clip, I would say, as far as predicting the future. There is, I think it's Judge Judy or it's Divorce Court. I don't know which TV show it was, but the bailiff.
Yes.
There's a case going on, and they're talking to the guy, and the judge refers to the bailiff and said, "Oh, he's been married 20 years." And the defendant guy says, "He don't look happy."
Oh yeah.
And
Yes.
he goes, "Look at him. He looks stressed. He looks mad." And then that bailiff ended up getting convicted of murdering his wife. And yeah, so that was a lot more prophetic, I think, than than Old Family Feud Tim, possibly.
Yes.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. That one is a good example. But again, I don't think the TV show made him do it.
Yeah, that guy just had a good eye for aura there, I guess.
But the guy may have had a good eye. Yeah.
All right. A little quick snidbit of more information on this one. I was reading just a little bit about it. So they actually did file for divorce in 2021. And then she was found dead on the bathroom on February 23rd, 2023. I'm trying to come up, where did the dates during his trial? The trial was on February 14th.
So they were divorced or in the process of getting a divorce when he murdered her.
Filed for divorce.
Sounds like.
Yeah, filed for divorce in 21. Whether they were officially divorced or whatever, not sure. But 2 years later, essentially, that's when she was found dead, February 23rd of 23. And then during his trial, in May, prosecutors said that Timothy killed his wife after seeing another man's car parked outside her home. Okay, yeah, on February 14th. Okay, so yes, Valentine's Day is lining up. I thought the trial was held in February. No. So again, it does seem like it was something where they were divorced, found another man. Maybe they were still kind of together. Maybe they weren't. Who knows? But yeah, this is a messy situation. It is just kind of crazy, I think, when you do see things on TV shows, and then they go and do a horrific act like this. And you had brought up too the whole O.J. Simpson too. Like, he was in movies, and he was in some pretty funny ones. I think what was it? Naked Gun.
All three Naked Guns.
Yeah,
he was in all three Naked Guns.
Yeah.
He was originally going to be cast as the Terminator.
That's right. Yes.
Yep. And then the reason he wasn't is because he was such a nice guy. People said it wouldn't be believable. No one would think of him as a cold-blooded machine killer.
Can you imagine? Where do you think the Terminator? Do you think they would have stopped after the first one, or do you think they would have kept making more, just a different Terminator?
I think Terminator 2. I think, if I'm correct, Terminator 2 came out before the trial.
Yeah, they would have. If we were talking about the movies, he would have at least been in 2 of them if they kept making them.
Yeah, so I think he would have been in T2, because if I'm correct, the murders happened in 94, 95.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In 1994, he was charged with the murders.
Okay.
And of course, he was found not guilty because of the famous trial and everything. But and granted, we are claiming O.J. Simpson in this. It's not a stretch because there are kind of two groups of people when it comes to O.J. Simpson. There are those people that believe that he did it and got away with murder, and those people that believe that he did it and got away with it because L.A. was trying to cover up for what happened with Rodney King, and so it was kind of a tit for tat. But there was never any proof that he actually did do it. It was never proven that he did it. It was proven that he was responsible somehow. They held him liable for it, but he was never found guilty of the murder. So it is entirely plausible that O.J. Simpson didn't do it. It is plausible.
I would need to go back and rewatch all of that stuff. It really is crazy because I remember watching. I can't remember. I think it was like the year that Netflix really started to make the the trials and of famous cases and everything like that. I think that was the start of it. I'm gonna have to take a look back into that. But I just find it
the O.J. Simpson trial with Cuba Gooding Jr. playing O.J.
Yes, yep.
Which I have to say, there can't be anybody better to play O.J. than Cuba Gooding Jr. because honestly, he seems really nice too. If I find out Cuba Gooding Jr. killed somebody, I would be like, possibly.
Possibly.
I've actually got a pretty funny off-air story about Cuba Gooding Jr., but he didn't murder anyone, but a funny story about him.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, it's a personal story, so I will not besmirch his name on a live.
Okay.
Do not besmirch the man's name.
It's a drunk story, so we'll just yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll move on to the next topic. Let's see if it's gonna go right in order.
Look out.
Okay, so I will switch up the numbers next time, so they're not in order. Is it 4? I wonder if it's 4. It is 4. All right.
Good job, Bob.
Yeah, right. Good job, Bob. Okay, I'm gonna have to. It's called Chi Blocker. All right. I'm gonna try to get I'm going to try to drop the link for this in the chat so everybody can watch it, or if they want to, go for it. If they don't have to. Let's see here. How do I?
You could just put the link up and share it into the screen. You should have the ability to present from another screen.
Share it.
Or send me just drop the link in the chat. Yeah, you can share your screen. Oh, there it is, right there. Here we go.
All right,
everybody. Here's the magical link right there. Reddit, win stupid prizes, comments like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll let you guys watch it, and then we'll talk about it. If you're watching straight from YouTube, I don't know if you're gonna be able to click on it or not.
Should be able to click on it in the chat. Cult leader does what now? Nearly kills an elderly lady. Hang on a second.
All right. Clark, you liked that one, didn't you?
I shouldn't laugh that hard at that.
In case you're missing it, I got it up here.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, John. All right.
Here we are. We're going to listen to this and see what's happening.
You stand here, and Magnus and Rebecca, you prepare her.
Why is she holding her asshole?
She broke her ass bone.
Okay, all right. Before we talk about it, I'm gonna let everyone know. All right, so what exactly, what is chi energy and everything you need to know about the ancient Chinese term? Okay, this is from OprahDaily.com, so you know it's good. Have you ever felt off balance but couldn't nail down the exact reason why? Chi may be to blame for your fatigue, brain fog, and irritability. Chi is the energy current that runs through our bodies, providing us with circulation, nutrients, and minerals that we need to be whole. In traditional Chinese medicine, qi has thought to be the life force and ultimate measure of one's vitality. The ancient art, which has been well vetted and considered safe practice by the National Center for Complementary and Something Health, has been used by doctors for medicine and all sorts of other things to restore the body to its natural, healthy state. Okay, so if you feel like you're kind of off, whatever, apparently it might be your chi. Everyone saw the video. Thank you, John, for sharing that video. That was pretty cool. Of this, I guess this teacher thought that this woman had like a force field or something, and she could stop him from running, stop him from running into her. But it didn't work. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think chi energy is real? Do you think it has a force field? Do you think hers wasn't more powerful enough? I don't mean to laugh. I don't. Because apparently chi is a thing. But I do think this. I don't think it can save you from someone running into you.
Yeah, I think the mind can like block out certain pain and stuff like that because adrenaline and things that are processes going on in the body and mind. But yeah, I mean, I think if you get bowled over, there's not a whole lot you can do about that.
Obviously, she did not have her chi focused. Okay, all right. I mean, obviously, I mean, it takes a little work, but just give me you can learn, and then once you get used to the chi, you can do things with it. It just takes a little bit of time, but you can get it to work. And then sometimes it doesn't work exactly like you want it. Ah, man, see, like it doesn't always work right. But I'm just saying, she obviously didn't have it focused right. And also, her teacher was obviously not trying to. Everybody knows that if you want to learn how to use chi energy, you've got to learn it from the guys who originated. You got to go all the way to China. You got to go find a Shaolin temple. You got to like give up everything for like 2-3 years, train with the Shaolin monks. You can't just learn it from some guy on a beach with a ponytail. Come on now. He didn't even have a bald head and a robe. There's no way that guy was going to teach her how to use chi energy.
Well, all right. The chat said this idiot convinced people that traditional Chinese medicine was a self-defense technique. Yeah, good point there. Yeah, I think some people will take, like these traditions and everything like that and put their own spin onto it, and then, make a mockery of it. So I there might be something to chi energy. Apparently, it's been researched and everything, but this is I think a little out there with like chi energy being able to block someone running full speed at you. Broker, It broke her. Jeez, it broke her ass.
I'm just saying, and now for me to be a little more serious. If there are people out there that honestly believe that you can use chi energy, it is Chinese medicine, but she's absolutely right. It's not the force, okay? It is not high-level telekinesis, okay? You're not going to stop an oncoming object. But if you do believe that, have I got a deal for you? Send $500 to the Carolina Storyteller, and I will get you set up with a new telekinesis way that you could stand in front of a moving truck and stop it with your mind. Now, this truck has to be moving towards you at 75 miles an hour on an interstate, and the driver cannot see you before you jump in front of the truck. But if you do, you'll stop the truck. Make sure you do it after you send me the $500 up.
But it is sad when people, in some sort of way prey upon people that like you were saying, joking aside, it's like people will actually do that. They will claim that they have this supernatural ability. Now, again, it would be amazing if things really were like that and things could happen where you could block someone running at you or, use your mind to do things. But I don't think we live in that world. Now, I will say, though, that there's plenty of cases where the human body can do superhuman things. There's a show, I believe, that's on the Discovery Channel where it takes these incidences or accidents where people are stuck underneath a car, or they have to scale a building, or they have to climb, or do something, or I think it's called 48 hours, or it's a certain number of hours where the guy had his arm pinned. He was a rock climber. He had his arm pinned
in a rock. 7 hours.
That's what it is. Thank you. He had his arm pinned in a rock, and he broke his arm, and he essentially did a self amputation of his arm. And you sit here and you think I could never do that. But the mind can really be a powerful thing. When you put when you think something and you want to put it into action, it can happen, and you can block out pain. You can lift cars. You can do all sorts of crazy things. But I think on a normal day-to-day basis, that it's just not a reality. But I do think in life or death situations, when your adrenaline is pumping, I think your body reacts in a certain way where it can either block things out or send so many signals to get you out of a situation. So yeah, I do believe that, but I don't think I believe so much in the chi energy being able to be used as a force field.
I think that, and I'm just going to say this: there has been evidence, and they have shown that people have been able to, either through just sheer adrenaline in the moment or through years of training, do incredible things with the human body, survive the unsurvivable, train their bodies to do amazing, incredible things. I have yet to see anyone train their body to stop something coming full speed from knocking them on their ass. It doesn't work like that. I mean, if it happens, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I would love to see that actually happening. But I've never seen anybody do it. Never heard of anybody doing it. And quite frankly, you're not going to learn it from some guy on the beach with a ponytail. It's just not going to happen. Okay, look, you see me on the beach trying to teach that shit, call me out, because you're not going to learn it from me. All right? Hey, you're not going to learn it from any other guy with a ponytail. It's just not happening.
Clark, any final thoughts before we move on to the next one?
Nah, don't really have much else on that one. Shout out to RIP, I should say, to James Randi, the amazing Randy. He used to have the bounty out there for anybody that could prove.
What?
Yeah, he was a magician, real fan, everything, and he had it kept going up over the years because he started it in the 70s and nobody ever claimed it, so he kept having to because of inflation, he had to keep offering more money. It started at like $10,000 and made it up to like $1 million or whatever. But yeah, he offered like a bounty for anybody that could prove any kind of like supernatural powers or paranormal like things. And he there was like a lot of people. There was like that guy that he went on a bunch of talk shows like Johnny Carson and stuff like that, because Johnny Carson was a big skeptic. And so like they would have people on that would claim, like Uri Geller obviously was like probably the most famous one. But other than Uri Geller, I think there was that guy that was that prisoner. He was like in prison. He said he learned telekinesis when he was in prison. And all that. And he called him out on the show, and all these people could never reproduce their their magic tricks under the conditions that James Randi gave them, like in like a sterile environment kind of thing.
Yeah.
They couldn't manipulate the items used.
Did he pass away recently?
He did. It wasn't that. I mean, it was a little while back. I thought he did.
Huh. Interesting.
I know he did pay out to one person for doing some kind of psychic reading, but I don't think he ever paid anybody else out.
Interesting.
Yeah, but he was debunking everybody. Nobody that was in the game and knew they couldn't prove it was going around him, because he could debunk everybody.
Yeah. That brings up a good movie on Hulu. And then I forgot the name of it. I watched it probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it is exactly on the same lines of it. This girl claims to be possessed by a demon, and the one of the characters acts like the guy who tries to debunk this stuff, and he has a reward thing too. It's a really good movie. I forgot the name of it. But it's shot like a documentary. I'm not gonna lie, it gets kind of cheesy towards the end, but it is a really good watch, and it is spooky season coming up. So if you're looking for something different, I'll try to remember the name of it, and I can drop it to everybody.
I can tell you the name.
Oh, you know it. You've watched it?
I know it. You're talking about Late Night with the Devil.
Yes.
Excellent movie. Excellent movie.
Yes.
It's done in it's kind of shown in almost a found footage way, but not really.
Yes. Yep.
And it is an amazing movie. I recommend it. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I would watch it. I would watch it again. Like it gets to me, I think like it gets a little cheesy, but I like that. I like my sci-fi movies and everything. But it is a good watch. If you're in looking for something new, I definitely suggest watching it. It's pretty good.
Sci-fi is good with a little bit of cheese.
Yeah, right. Okay. I think that's all we have for the chi blocker one. We'll let Bob spin the wheel again. It's probably going to be 3, I would assume.
Hang on, I'm trying to use my chi to get number 3.
Your luck for that.
My chi
yeah, look at that. Good. Rebecca Coriame. Does the name sound familiar to either one of you?
Not off the top of my head.
No, it didn't. By the way, spooky season started 25 minutes ago. I'm being reminded because I have to post a spooky story today.
Oh, okay. Well, it did start 25 minutes ago. Yes. Okay. So Rebecca Coriame, we covered this story probably maybe a year and a half ago. It was one of our earlier episodes. I think it's in top 10 disappearances. Rebecca Coriame, she worked on a Disney cruise, and she ended up going missing, and no one really knew how or why. There was always theories as to a possible rogue wave, came and like knocked her off the ship, or she, there was talks of possible suicide that she had done, but no one really knows. And I think the biggest thing too was Disney never, if I remember correctly, Disney didn't look into the investigation, or they tried covering it up. I don't remember. I'm going to pull up the article real quick and see what it says, because I think they go into a little bit more about the case. So her body was never found in the 14 years since. Haunting CCTV showed Rebecca looking distressed and on her phone in the early hours of March 22nd of 2011. It was the final time the Childhood Studios graduate would be seen, and no one knows what happened. Chilling theories of murder and suicide remain at the forefront of the mystery. The ship's captain blamed a rogue wave for sweeping Rebecca into the sea off the coast of Mexico. But experts say his account simply doesn't add up, as such a huge wave would have unquestionably have caused damage and been logged. Rebecca's disappearance is littered with inconsistencies and unanswered questions sparked by a serious flawed probe. Former commander of the Special Operations in Scotland Yard, Roy Ram, now a private investigator who dug into the case, believes her disappearance was at the center of a cover-up. He told The Sun somebody on that vessel was unquestionably responsible for her death. An initial investigation was done by a lone Bahamian police officer who flew in from 1,500 miles away. The superintendent arrived on Friday, March 25th, and spent less than 36 hours on board before concluding Rebecca's disappearance was not suspicious. Just a handful of crew members were quizzed, and there was no forensic examination. Ram, who looked into Rebecca's disappearance, said that the probe was inadequate. He added the case would have unquestionably been solved if it wasn't for the initial series of failures. What they should have done was called in more, expertise, investigators, the FBI, yada yada, all this stuff. Yeah, and it just goes on a little bit like that. So inconsistencies, a bad investigation, Disney not looking into this, what actually happened to her. There's more in, I believe it was the sun.com that covered this article, but you can look it up to yourself. But again, it was just a really shitty investigation, and no one knows what happened to this Disney employee. But have either one of you heard of this before or no?
I kind of heard about it a little, but not that much detail.
Okay.
I haven't heard about this particular case, but I mean, as far as like cruise disappearances, I know a decent amount about a lot of cases, and I know 3 people that actually work on cruise ships, and so I've like talked to them about stuff like this. One of them actually worked for Disney too. So, but the only thing I really find strange about it, honestly, is without looking into more details, I guess, of the circumstances of her like whereabouts before she disappeared. But the captain even having a comment or making an assumption of like a rogue wave is the weirdest thing to me.
Exactly.
That's the only thing that's like throws up any kind of red flag, because the rest of it really doesn't, because the investigation part is so difficult to do because you're in international waters. Who has jurisdiction? So what country is she a citizen of? She's an employee of the cruise line. And there's just so many different factors of who has jurisdiction over something like that. And then the fact that the cruise ship itself cannot stop for the disappearance of one person.
Exactly.
So like a lot of people don't realize that it doesn't come to an ass grinding halt because one person out of 2,000 souls on board, a vessel with dwindling supplies and a timetable and a lot of money tied up in it and fuel and everything, all the things that go into that, they don't just stop because, one person on a party boat goes missing.
There was go ahead, John.
No, well, and let's not to mention, there are a lot of factors at play here. And like you mentioned, it is in international waters. And here's the kicker with international waters, okay? When you're in international waters and you're on a boat, the laws on that boat are determined by the flag under which the boat is registered. So an American boat has to deal with the American law enforcement system. So yeah, we get the FBI, we get, the Coast Guard, we get the National Guard, we get all of those federal agencies that can go in. A lot of cruise lines are not registered as American ships. They're registered in other ports of call, particularly in the Bahamas. Nassau and Freeport are two very big ports that have cruise ships registered to them. Why? Because most cruises go in and out of there, and a lot of them don't just come to American ports. They go to other ports of call. So when you're considering that, you're considering you have a cruise ship that is registered in a different country. It is sailing in international waters. Somebody goes missing off of the ship. Just because they just were discovered missing doesn't mean that's when they went missing. There's a whole period of time. And if you don't have a lot of cameras, which most cruise ships don't, because why? Their passengers want their privacy. And if it was a wave, it wasn't a rogue wave. That's a good point. It was a targeted wave sent by Poseidon. That's possibly true, Chris. It's possibly very true. It could have been a targeted wave sent by Poseidon. But, when you're on the ocean and you're moving, okay, and if you ever go to the beach, try this out. Get out far enough to where your feet can barely touch and you're actually swimming. And stay out there in the water for a little bit. And then try to come straight into where you were. 9 times out of 10, with the way the current is moving just right there off of the beach, you will be in a different position from where you went out to.
Mm-hmm.
The water is always moving in the ocean. When you get it far out there, it doesn't look like it when you're on it, but the water is always moving, and it's moving with the currents. So if you are in that water and on the beach, depending on how strong the current is, I have gone out to swim and swum straight out and ended up 200 yards down 5 minutes later because that's how the current was pulling me.
Yeah.
I'm not 20 foot from the beach, but I'm deep enough that I could get into the current and the current could just drag me along. Now imagine you're out where it's very deep. The currents are really strong. The boat is going one way. The current is going a different way. You've dropped off in that water. It doesn't matter if that boat turns around to come and look for you. You're not going to be where you fell, and they're never going to find you.
There was you bringing that up, John, reminds me of another clip. It was on Reddit for a while. I think this maybe happened like 6 months to a year ago. You guys might remember it. It was a bunch of people partying on a boat, and someone jumped off and wanted to go swimming, and they couldn't get back to the boat. And they threw out one of the rings to him, I believe, and then he just kind of slowly disappeared into the water. Like he was still swimming, like you could see his head, but then he just kind of drifted off, and he just couldn't catch the boat anymore because just the way the boat was moving, the waters were moving him. They couldn't get him, and then the whole search, started for him. I would love to. I can't remember for the life of me his name or when this was, but again, it was about a year to 6 months ago that this had happened. But yeah, it's just things are always moving. The water is a dangerous place, and this story is just kind of riddled with why, and that's why I think there's a lot of conspiracies behind this particular case with Rebecca, is because almost like what you had brought up, Clark, is why would the captain bring up a rogue wave? To me, and again, that looks like he had some sort of involvement or he knew something. And I don't know, again, to say, of all things, why would you say that? Because if you are, a sea captain, or, you're the captain of this ship, you must have plenty of hours. So, behind the wheel of, and just, you must have hit weather before, and to say a rogue wave, come on, I don't think anyone's going to really buy that.
It's possible that they took it as a rogue wave. when he was talking about it being possibly just a wave. If they were in rough seas, if you're in rough seas ever on a big ship, and I've been on some pretty big boats and I've been out in rough seas before, standard waves are 20, 30 foot tall. They can crash against the side of the ship and put that water up there. It doesn't have to be a rogue wave for it to be a big wave. If you've ever watched the videos in the North Sea of these guys, they're cresting 45 footers and then dropping down. It is possible that they were in rough seas and he's just like, look, a wave must have taken her over, and somebody miscommented him and said rogue wave. But yeah, if he said rogue waves are an entirely different animal. They come up out of nowhere. Generally, they cause massive damage to ships because they are humongous. And they would have been recorded. It would have been like, hey, we hit a fucking rogue wave out here.
I'm trying to look. Okay. So I'm reading a little bit more into the article. Ram dismissed this theory, pointing out how such a large wave would have undoubtedly caused damage. This is a massive cruise ship. She was way up there, he said, and the captain said that he thought she'd been washed off by a freak wave. Well, it must have been some kind of freak wave that washed her off and left her flip-flops behind. Also, a wave of that magnitude would have rocked the vessel. There would have been breakage, but there was nothing in the ship's log about this. There was so much about it that's completely unsatisfactory. The final footage of Rebecca from the ship's CCTV showed her looking distressed at 5:45 a.m. on the morning of her disappearance. She would have been on an international phone on the first deck wearing what looked like men's clothing. Ram believes that this is a key piece of evidence and something had made Rebecca so distraught that could have led to her death. But yeah, so apparently her shoes were left on the deck of the ship. So how does a rogue wave now? Again, it may be possible, but there's nothing in the ship's logs, and her shoes were left behind. And you would think that at least maybe in this article, if it was a rogue wave, that they would have had like multiple people say like, yeah, it was rough seas during her time of disappearance. Or just, I feel like people would have been like, yeah, it was really rough waters. I could totally see that she might have gone overboard. But yeah, I would like to see what kind of ship this was and everything. I'll have to look a little bit more into it, or just kind of listen to the episode that we did this on. But yeah, that's Rebecca Corriame. Any final thoughts on that? Nope. All right. Well, I think we should save the last three for the next Fishbowl at the end of the month. We've been recording for about an hour and 20 minutes ish, so I think that's good for a Fishbowl for tonight. What do you guys think? We can keep going if you want to, but I think we're at a good stopping point.
No, I think we're good. I think we've covered a lot.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, thank you, chat, for stopping by and providing all the comments and everything like that. It was fun having everybody. Again, this is season 2. We're doing things a little bit different. We're trying new things. If you liked what you heard, or you want to see something different, go ahead and message us. We're checking our emails. You can join us on the Discord. You can go to our Podbean, which has hyperlinks to all of these sites and everything. Our email is a little bit different. It's not That's Effing Weird. It actually is podinfo2022@gmail.com. That's how you can get a hold of us. Let's see here. What else do we have? We have Clark, who's going to be coming up with new segments for season 2. Fish bowls are going to be at the end of the month. I wonder if there's anything else that we're forgetting. We do have Zazzle. If you guys want to, purchase any merch of the show, we do have that. And I think that's about it. That's all I have. What about you guys?
Nope. Wraps it up for me. You said it all.
Well,
All right.
I guess the only thing I got is new episodes of the Carolina Storyteller are dropping this week. A new episode of Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles dropped 25 minutes ago. So episode 10 is now live and out if you guys want to listen to that. And if you're in the Charleston area, you can catch me this Friday, September 5th at the Terrace Theater. I'm opening for the Rocky Horror Picture Show Shadowcast.
No way, really?
I'm going to go do the time warp, guys.
Hey, awesome. Is there going to be anything as far as like a any links or anything like that for is it going to be like a live performance or like what is it going to be exactly?
It's a live show that I'm doing at the Terrace Theater, so it will not be online.
Okay.
Got to make it there, but it's not my only live show this season. I've got several of them coming up. So if you're in the Charleston area, keep your eye open for the Carolina Storyteller. He's going to be popping up at a venue near you.
Awesome. Sweet. Cool. That is great. Yeah. Jonathan, thank you again for stopping by and helping us out. It's a pleasure having you
Always
on.
glad to be here.
And hey, just remember that that old thing that we have here, that we don't want stuff that's normal. We want stuff that's effing weird. I don't know how to end the stream. Do you guys know how to end the stream?
Oh, yeah, I do. It goes just
okay.
like this. Hang on. Wait. It's like this.
Oh, perfect.